All right. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It is Thursday, special edition, this is how this day is going to go. Special episode edition with Amber Balcaen. How are we doing?
Good. How are you guys doing?
Good.
Good.
John, I'm going to let you ask Amber some questions.
All right.
Amber, if you want to start off right away and let everybody know about yourself, I've got to send out invites to our sponsors and a couple special guests.
Sure. Did you want me to go right now?
Yeah, if you want.
All right. So my name's Amber Balcaen. I'm from Winnipeg, Manitoba, Canada. Right now I'm living in North Carolina, where I moved to pursue my NASCAR dreams. I'm actually going to be living in California this season, though, because I'm racing for Bill McAnally out on the West Coast in the BMR Drivers Academy. My background is a little bit of everything. I started in dirt oval, went to in go-karts, went to mini sprints, then 410 sprint cars, then transitioned over to limited late models, did a couple super late model races, and then went back to dirt, raced dirt midgets, and now I'm back on the pavement racing in an ARCA car for the BMR Drivers Academy.
I'm super excited about it. First of all, thank you for coming on. This is a huge opportunity for us. You're our first female driver to come on.
Right on. I'm happy to be here.
I tried to get you on, obviously, during March, but we switched you and Sammy. So Sammy talked last week, or on Monday, actually, about autism awareness, because he was going to be on the show today. So we just rotated it. So Sammy actually talked about autism awareness, and now we have you on the show.
Oh, right, because last week I was flying out to California.
Yeah. So can you tell us about the Racing Wives show? I mean, I know that I can't say I was a fangirl or anything, but it was bad. Like, when it came on, I was glued to the TV and I was watching because it was really good.
Well, thank you. I'm glad you liked it. That's for sure. What would you like to know?
Well, anything. I mean, tell us how it was being on the show. Obviously, working with KBM, working with Kyle, Samantha, Whitney, all of them.
So how this opportunity came about was I actually met Samantha probably like a year or two before I had even moved down to North Carolina. And we actually filmed a reality show called Racing Girls, and it was me and a bunch of female racers, but the pilot never got picked up. So, but that gave me my introduction to Samantha. I used that opportunity to kind of let Samantha know who I am, tell her my story, what I'm about, what my goals are. And that's how we first connected. Ever since then, she kind of kept up with my career. And then once she saw that I went pavement racing and won, she reached out again and was like, hey, like, that's awesome that you can win. I've always wanted a winning female race car driver at KBM. Let's talk. So that's how it kind of started. And then, like racing, most people in racing know you need the funding to race. And I just didn't have the funding to do it at that level. But I did some modeling for her Shop Murph boutique. And so we kind of kept in contact that way. And it was really cool too, because Shop Murph was actually in KBM. So I got to look at the trucks and see the shop and everything when I went to model for her. And one of the days she said, hey, we're doing this new show. It's called Racing Wives. And one of the girls isn't able to do it anymore. And they're looking for another girl. Is this something you'd be interested in? I know you're trying to find sponsorship, and this might be a good opportunity for you to do that. I was like, yeah, absolutely. So I met with CMT, and they liked me, and they asked me to be a part of the show, because I get a lot of, well, you're not a racing wife, so why are you in the show? So, but that's how the connection got brought up there. And my first thought was, this is another platform for me to get exposure and hopefully attract new sponsors, because that's what I'd been struggling with, is gaining sponsorship to move up to the next level. So the experience itself taught me a lot. It had its ups and downs, but I would have not experienced some of the things that I got to experience if it wasn't for that show, and some of the people that I met and the relationships I made. So there was, like anything, there's pros and cons. There's difficult parts of it, and there's really great parts of it. But I'm really happy that I did it.
Nice. My biggest thing was when watching that is the heartbreak when you actually were running for Kyle and you hit the wall, and I'm just like, it broke my heart because I was like, man, she did so well up until that point.
Mhm.
What
Yeah.
like
The hardest part about that too was like it was because of I don't know why my mind's blanking right now, but the tire bleeder. It was the tire bleeder, and that gave me a flat tire and put me in the wall. It's just the smallest little thing, and that's a part of racing. That's what racing is. Things happen, but it was the fact that I had one shot. I had one race with them, and that's what really kind of hurt. But I actually didn't even watch the last episode because I was very stressed watching all the episodes live, and I was like, I don't want to go back emotionally into that spot again. So I actually didn't even watch the last episode.
so how hard is it being in North Carolina and now moving? I mean, you've been there for how long?
I've been here for over 4 years now, which is really crazy to think of. Honestly excited to move to California for a bit, just be closer to all the guys in the shop and Bill, and California is beautiful. I mean, I really can't complain about moving out there. And, we have 40 races this season, which is a lot of races. So just to be closer to all of that and allow me to really just focus on racing and nothing else. My fiance will be in Canada playing football. So I'm excited to just have this time to 100% focus on racing. And, I hopefully next year I'll be back in North Carolina, maybe racing for the ARCA National Series. But for now, I'm really focused on this BMR Academy and just learning as much as I can.
Absolutely. And congratulations on your 4th place finish last week.
Thank you.
All right, John, I know you have a couple questions.
Yeah. Coming from the dirt background and the midget background and then going to pavement, do you think it's easier going from dirt to pavement or pavement to dirt when you're racing?
It's easier going from dirt to pavement, I think.
Really?
For sure.
And then how did it feel to be the first Canadian woman to actually win a NASCAR sanctioned event?
So that was in 2016, and that was my first year ever on pavement. So I went to 410 sprint cars right into a limited late model with Lee Pulliam, and my goal was to win. It's always to win. As soon as I get in a car, I want to win. And I overestimated how difficult that was going to be. Underestimated how difficult that was going to be. It was Kyle Larson, Tony Stewart, those guys make it look so easy, but it's really not that easy. But I was happy that I think it was I did 12 races with Lee, and it was the 11th race that I was finally able to win. And I was really happy that I was able to do it. But I'm someone who's very goal oriented, and I just set more goals and more goals once I reach one. So I got to, kind of celebrate for a little bit, but then it was just, okay, let's get to the next level. Let's win more races, win a championship, and get more sponsors to move up.
Nice.
So I seen on your Twitter, you were asking everybody about the Bristol dirt race. I never seen a reply back on what your thoughts were. So what are your thoughts on it?
I thought it was awesome. There was definitely, dirt cars don't have windshields. They just don't, for a reason. I think we all realized what that reason was, but I think it's awesome that NASCAR is trying to do more stuff on dirt. I love dirt. There's a NASCAR Pinty Series race in Canada this year that I'm trying to do that race on dirt at Oshwegan Speedway, because I want to at least do one dirt race a year. So I think it's great. I think that Eldora would also been a really great spot. Hopefully, they do more with Eldora as well, but it was really cool to see dirt on Bristol too.
Yeah, Eldora's got a spot in my heart because it's my home track. But
that's awesome.
So when they pulled it and put Bristol, I was a little hurt, and then after watching the race, I was kind of like, all right, this is actually kind of fun. So
yeah.
So fans are back this weekend.
Yes. Super excited.
Tell us how excited you are to have the fans finally back in the stands.
Yeah, I'm so excited. I thrive off the fans. And the best part about fans is, if you have a good race or bad race, like the fans just want to see you and they just want to get your autograph and have fun. And they have a big smile on their faces. And that just makes you feel better as a driver, So I'm really excited for them to be back and get to interact with them and just see them. I mean, that's such a big part of our sport. Our fans drive our sport. So for them not to be there is kind of weird.
And I was looking at your paint scheme for Icon. I like it. It's sharp looking. It's very sleek.
Thank you. The Icon Direct team actually designed that themselves. They've been all on board with all of this. It's really cool. They're on for all 40 of my races this year as a primary sponsor. They're out of my home province of Manitoba. They're just outside of my hometown of Winnipeg, just an hour outside of it. So it's really cool to have Canadian companies backing Canadian Girl, but in California.
So we talked with Rafael Lazard a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
And he brought up being like in Canada and then coming to the US. How difficult was it for you to go from Canada, US, obviously with COVID and all that also?
Yeah. So for me a lot of people don't realize, like, for me to even move down here was such a big hurdle that I had to jump over, because I had to hire a immigration lawyer. Then I had to get a visa to immigrate basically over here. And my visa is a P1 visa, which is an athlete visa, which I'm only allowed to work in racing as a driver. I'm not allowed to get a part-time job at Starbucks or anything else like that. So I can only make money through racing or racing activities, which makes it really difficult, because I'm sure most people know when you're at the lower levels of racing, you're not really making any money. So it cost me a lot of money just to get a visa to move down here. And then since I've been down here, to try to earn an income has also been difficult, because I'm so limited to what I can do. So there's that part of it. And then there's recently the COVID part. Like, I haven't been, I was able to go to Winnipeg last summer, but I haven't been since then. And even now, this coming up season, my plan was to fly to Canada to watch my fiance play football, but I don't know if I'll be able to, because right now they have the 2-week quarantine in effect. So we might have to go months without seeing each other. Like, we just don't know. So, but it's just part of it. We're just lucky that we get to do what we love.
Absolutely. And John, we were actually talking about this. Kyle winning the championship for our league in the truck series, and then myself winning, I was like, hey, why don't we go to Charlotte? It'd be fun. Go to Charlotte, Bristol, wherever, those two tracks. And he's like, I'd love to, but that 2-week quarantine when you come back, like Amber was just saying.
Yeah.
If you cross the border, you literally have to turn around, and when you come back, 14 days.
Yes.
Hands down, no way around it.
No. There's, I think, $1 million fine if you are caught. So in the summer when I went back, I had to do the 2-week quarantine, and this was just after I was hurt. So, I had the time, thankfully, to be able to do that. But the government would call us and email us and check up on us to see if we were where we say we were, and if there was anyone else in the house with us. And yeah, it's pretty crazy.
Dang.
So I see they're closing restrictions in Ontario too, anyway, because I live right outside of Detroit,
but it's not.
Yeah.
No, I live right outside of Detroit up in Michigan, so I'm kind of like Canada's neighbor.
Yeah.
So without all the practice that you're supposed to get, how has iRacing came in to help you get better and get used to these tracks that you go into now?
Yeah, iRacing was a huge help going into this season, because, like I said before, I was racing midgets last year on dirt, which is completely different than these big ARCA cars, heavy car, not a lot of traction on these tires that we're running. So I used iRacing. The closest track to Roseville, which is our first 8 races, was the Bull Ring at Las Vegas. So that was the track I was practicing on the most. Just getting used to, the throttle, the lift off, the way the throttle and gas works, or the throttle and brakes works in pavement is different than it's been a long day. It's different than dirt. So just kind of getting used to the feel of everything again. And it's so much slower pace in the pavement cars. It just burr, so just getting used to all that, and visually, for sure, iRacing helped a lot.
Now, when you get ready for a race, what's your normal routine?
Usually get up, have a big breakfast, go for a little walk outside, and just try to keep calm and relaxed, listen to pump up music on the way there. I do a little bit of visualization, and just kind of keep it chill.
Thank you, Tamarcus. He's in the chat saying you're a goat, or you're the goat, and then he's saying nice shirt because I've got his racing logo shirt on. So can you tell us about the midgets? Obviously, how are they? How'd you do in them?
Yeah, they're fun. But they're harder than you would think. Personally, I think I like 410 sprint cars the best, or even 360 sprint cars. That's where I felt like I kind of thrived. I did the midgets at the Chili Bowl in 2015, but other than that, that was my only midget race. So going from super late models to dirt midgets was like again just a big difference. So the first time we tested, it felt comfortable, it felt good. But it's such a competitive series. The Power Eye series, the USAC series, like they're such great drivers, and they race 60 times a year. And I think I did like 8 races. So there's definitely room for improvement, but I think I was definitely getting better every single race. Made a couple A mains and had a top 10 finish my last race. So was definitely getting better. But when this opportunity with Icon Direct came up, they wanted to be a NASCAR. And that was my ultimate goal, was to be a NASCAR. The reason why I went back to dirt was because with COVID, the marketing partners I had lined up for that year, they all backed out. So I was only left with a little bit of sponsorship money. So I was trying to figure out how can I use this money and race the most amount of possible. So I went back to dirt. It was really fun. I got to race with Flea Ruzick, who is an amazing crew chief. I really miss racing for him because he made racing very enjoyable and kind of taught me how to have fun again. I think when you're trying to make this a career, sometimes you lose sight of the fun part of it. And that's why us drivers start racing in the first place, is because it's fun. So he kind of reminded me to have fun again. And I still have to remind myself that now, especially in the BMR Academy, because I just want to do so well. But I usually tend to do better when I have a little more fun. So yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Does that look fun?
Yeah, it looks like a blast.
It was a lot of fun.
Now, I've heard about it. I've looked it up a while back. Can you tell us about that hard wreck that you had, and tell us about the road to recovery you had to go through?
Yeah, for sure. So my background again is dirt. So I've flipped a lot in my mini sprint, flipped a lot in the 410 sprint cars, and was used to flipping. It's you're used to it when you race open wheels. I've had concussions and nothing's really shook me up, but this crash was different. I flipped high and viciously, landed in a fence. When I woke up, there's paramedics around me, and I just remember hanging in a fence. And then I think I took my gloves off, and then I fell back asleep, and that's why I burned my arms, because my arm fell out the side and was hit on the muffler, so that burned that. And then I woke up again, and I was in the ambulance. When I woke up in the ambulance, I couldn't feel my arms or my legs, or like I couldn't feel them, I couldn't move them, nothing. So I honestly thought I was paralyzed at that moment, and it freaked me out. And I couldn't remember anything. I couldn't remember my passcode to my phone. I couldn't remember like my birthday, my fiance's phone number, like nothing. And it took a while for everything to come back. So it was definitely the most scared that I've been from a crash.
Yeah, it definitely was. I seen some of the pictures. I would share them, but they are the ones on your arm where you got burned were kind of gnarly.
Yeah, it was pretty nasty for a little bit.
Like it actually shows like where it scabbed completely over, and
yeah,
if you look at it, it's on her Twitter page.
Yeah, I think it's on my Instagram too, but
that's something I don't have anything that says warning.
Yeah.
So I know a lot of people have been asking about your hero cards. How do they get a hold of them? I know that you have your website. Obviously, we had NASCAR Sammy on the show on Monday, and he told us about his website and where we can go to donate. We'd like to do the same thing for you. Where can we go? Where can we donate? Where can we get merchandise?
Yeah, you can get it all on my website, amberbalcanracing.com. As soon as you go on the page, there's a a big header at the top that says click here for an autograph hero card. So you can just click that. It'll take you right to the hero card. I'm designing new merch right now. I do have some merch left over from last year, but I'm designing 2021 merch right now. So hopefully that'll be out by the end of the month. But yeah, amberbalkanracing.com.
I definitely know I'm going to be buying some, definitely getting a hero card, so that I'm not home right now, but usually behind me is hero cards that have been signed by drivers.
Cool.
And you're definitely going up behind me, so that way everybody can see it.
Cool.
And I'm starting a collection myself, so.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So were you on the Overton's truck?
I was. Yes, I was. It was really cool. I was on Anderson's truck. It was really cool to see that.
I actually, I was looking at it, and I was watching it on TV, and I didn't even realize that my mom's name was on there.
Really?
Yeah, it was on the hood.
Amazing. That's
It was
so
on the
cool.
It was on the hood, right at the very bottom, right where they lift it.
Yeah.
And they went across it, and Fast Lap Podcast, which you were on, was on there, and they zoomed into them and then went down the hood because Hannah Newhouse and I believe it was Jamie Little was right there also. So they went down to the bottom, and I'm like, hold on. I rewound the TV and paused it, and I'm like, my mom's name's on there.
That's awesome.
I was like, where did that come from? I tagged you, I tagged my mom, and I tagged Fast Lap Podcast to throw you guys up.
Thank you for tagging me. I appreciate that.
Yeah, no problem. Like I said, I do follow you on Twitter on both accounts, the Pro Premium and on my personal, and it's awesome. The things that you post, especially today, saying that you got tricked by all the April Fools, I was dying. I was like, first of all, how do you fall for that when you know it's April 1st?
I don't know, because I always believe, like, I guess I'm too trusting of a person. Like, I always believe that people have the best intentions, and that everything they're saying is true, and it's just not always the case.
So we have Tamarcus Morgan, who works for Rick Ware Racing. He is in the chat saying, I would love to see her run in a pro late model race at Hickory. Is that something that you would be interested in doing at some point?
I'm open to any racing. Like, I don't want to say too much, but there's opportunities for other stuff coming up this year too that I'm like 100% open to. Like, if it has a wheel and 4 tires, I'm there.
I'd like to see you come down to Eldora and tear up the dirts in the 410.
I would like that too. That'd be fun. Out of everything I've raced, sprint cars are my favorite. 410.
Hey, or even a late model in Toledo, Bobby, because I can get there in like 45 minutes.
Nobody wants to race in Toledo.
But it was like my favorite track when I was a kid.
Okay, so being that you're in ARCA, at some point in time, but you're moving to California and doing that. After you graduate from there, where does it go? Does it go into the races like he's talking about, where you're at Toledo and all those tracks?
Yeah, so as of right now, I'm not actually in the ARCA series. I'm racing an ARCA car, but the series is the BMR Drivers Academy. But the great thing about the BMR Drivers Academy is the points leader, after so many races, has an opportunity to race to ARCA West car. So there's a very good chance that I'll also do some ARCA West races. So my whole goal for this year is to race all 40 races, run 3 ARCA West races, win as many of those as I can. And then next year would be to do the national ARCA series, so the full 20 race schedule.
Well, I'm going to tell you right now, if you somehow, some way end up in Toledo, yeah, I am going to be there.
I hope so. And it'll be next year. So hopefully COVID will be over and we can have all the fans and see you guys and talk to you.
Yeah, hopefully I'll be able to get pit passes and all that and be able to get back there and be able to hang out with you guys, and that'd be awesome. Now, any new sponsorship other than Icon that you're going to have on the car, or is it strictly Icon?
I'm always working on getting new sponsors. I do have another sponsor on the car this is their 5th year with me. They're also out of my hometown of Winnipeg, Manitoba. That's Glenn McLeod and Sons. They're a trucking company. Super, super great people. They're like family to me now. So really excited for them to be on board for the 5th year in a row. And then Icon Direct is the primary sponsor, and without them I would not be racing. So really excited that they did the whole season, and I'm going to do my best to make them proud.
So when you were touring Kyle Busch Motorsports and all that, and being with Samantha and all that, how cool was it seeing him win all those races? And I mean, is it like an empire like everybody says?
Oh yeah, it's absolutely amazing. I think the coolest part for me was when I did the test day and he came and helped me on my test day. Like that was one of those days where I'm like, is this real life? Like, is this my life right now? Like Kyle Busch is coaching me around the track. Like, this is so cool. Like I whether you love Kyle or hate Kyle, he is one of the most talented race car drivers there is. And I have so much respect for him, and for him to come there and coach me, and that was an experience I'll never forget.
All right, so we have a couple questions starting to pop in the chat. What is your favorite racing moment as a fan?
Oh, that's a good question. As a fan, I would have to say watching my dad. I grew up my whole life watching my dad race, and he was such a fun driver. I mean, he still races to this day. He races dirt late models, but I would get so intense and so passionate watching him. Like I would be up screaming, yelling, and there'd be times where I would even be mad at him after the race if I felt like he didn't drive good. And I got that back when I started racing. But yeah, honestly, my favorite memories are just probably sitting up in the grandstands at River City Speedway in Grand Forks, North Dakota, watching my dad race.
Now, I was actually going to bring this up, so it actually worked out perfect. Can you tell us about your dad, and I believe it's your brother that raced growing up?
I don't have a brother. I'm an only child.
Oh, so okay, sorry. I remember hearing somebody say something about your dad and somebody else racing. But...
So my mom's dad raced and my mom's brother raced. And my mom's brother and my dad raced against each other for a while. So maybe that was it.
That was my mistake.
Oh no, that's okay. But yeah, my whole family raced. All my cousins raced. So it was only natural for me to want to race too, because I was surrounded by it since I was born. And you know, everyone in my family did really well. They won a lot of races. And so I had to be there too. And when I got into go-karts, I was winning. When I went into mini sprints, I was winning. And I was trying to, you know, keep the name up. So hopefully I can continue to do that.
Awesome. John, what other questions do you got?
Well, it's not really racing related, but Bobby knows I've got a son that's really big for his age.
They call him Sasquatch.
Yeah, we call him Sasquatch. So growing up in Winnipeg and with your boyfriend playing in the CFL, growing up, who was your favorite CFL team, and who's your favorite CFL team now?
So growing up, it'd be the Bombers, the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. My dad used to take me to games when I was younger. Now it's the Saskatchewan Roughriders for obvious reasons, because that's where my fiance plays now, which it's kind of funny because those two are the biggest rivals in the CFL. Like they have a long line of rivalry between them two. And so I get crap from Winnipeg for cheering for the wrong team, but it's fun.
Oh yeah.
Now talking about football, since you're in the States, do you have a favorite NFL team?
Yeah, so I actually wasn't really a fan of CFL before. I preferred NFL, and my NFL team forever was the Minnesota Vikings. I was a huge Adrian Peterson fan. But when I moved to North Carolina, I got on the Charlotte Panthers bandwagon because I'm like, I live here. I gotta have that home team spirit. But I don't know. They've been very disappointing the last couple of years. So I don't know.
I would have thought maybe you said a Lions fan since AP played for us last year, but you know, hey.
Oh, yeah.
I
still love him, and I follow his wife as well.
So I'm a Steelers fan. Obviously, he's a Lions fan. Baseball
Packers
season
fan.
just started. What's your favorite baseball team?
So baseball is one that I really don't know anything about, to be honest. My cousin actually plays professional baseball. I can't remember what team he plays for now. He was on the White Sox for a really long time. I know he switches teams a lot, so I'm not sure exactly what team he is on, but whatever team he's on.
Now, do you have a hockey team?
Yes. So this is another one that's going to stump you. So you'd think it's the Winnipeg Jets because I'm from Winnipeg.
Right.
But I have a very athletic family. So my fiance's brother plays for the Las Vegas Golden Knights. So I'm a Golden Knights fan.
That kind of stings a little bit. That stings
just because your goalie went there?
That just stings just a little bit.
Why, you were
He
a Philly fan?
was with the St. Louis Blues for like 8 years.
No, I'm a Penguins fan, so
He was with the Penguins for like 6 months.
okay, well that works.
What?
Oh no, it's just when Andre McFleury left and went, it stung. Like that hurts just a little bit.
He's a good player.
So Tamarcus is going Carolina Panthers, and then he says Red Sox. Obviously, yeah, I was gonna say.
Yeah,
this is my girlfriend's parents. They here, I'll show it.
Boston.
Yeah, Nashville.
Boston and Nashville.
Yeah, unfortunately, I'm at the bottom of the barrel with all 3 of my Detroit teams right now. So.
That's my problem. I can't. I like Pittsburgh, football and hockey. I cannot, and I know this is terrible to say. I cannot stand the Pirates. Can't. Just absolutely can't. I'm a Red Sox fan through and through. So, all right. So Amber, what are you looking forward most in 2021, other than the fans?
Just learning and getting better. This is the first time that I've had a full season in years. So for me to actually get a full season and get better and improve every single race and see what I can do, I'm excited for my progression, really.
You want to tell us about last weekend's race? I mean, you qualified 3rd. You ended up finishing 4th. I mean, tell us about the race. I mean, I didn't see many or a lot of updates on your page or anything about the race. So
yeah, I mean, we were really fast in practice the first day, and then the race, I just made a lot of mistakes. I hadn't been in a pavement race in so long, and I just made a lot of mistakes, made too many mistakes, and was not consistent enough. So the next race, my car was super tight in practice and qualifying. And then for feature time, the car got a little better, but still just didn't quite have the speed we needed. But I at least got a little bit more consistent. So had more consistent laps, and we'll just keep building on for next week. I think the next weekend's going to be a lot better. I know every time I get in the car, I just get better. So that's, again, what I said. I'm just excited for my progression because I know I'm only going to get better the more I'm in these cars.
The wins are definitely coming.
Oh yeah.
I like to think that too. I like to think it's just a matter of time. It just, I got work to do, I got to keep learning and just keep progressing.
Well, I know we brought up the Racing Wives, and I was talking about when you blew that tire and hit the wall. I think that if you wouldn't have blew that tire, you could have won that race easily.
Well, thank you. I don't know if I could have won it, but I do appreciate that.
And a matter of fact, John knew this. I actually went the other day after we got off the phone or got off texting each other, and I told him, I go, you ain't gonna believe who I just got on the show. And I told him, and I go, now I'm gonna go watch Racing Wives again.
Which I went and watched too because I'd never seen the show.
That's okay. No worries. Honestly, I wasn't super happy with how I was portrayed. Also, it was filmed 2 years ago, right? And you grow a lot in your 20s. So I feel like I'm a lot more intelligent than the show made me. But hey, it was fun, and it opened a new fan base to me. I got to connect with a lot of new people because of it. So it was a great experience.
No, I like I said, I enjoyed it. It was one show that I definitely binge watched here and there.
Like seeing the guys on there, like Kurt and Kyle.
I watched the whole thing. I mean, I sat down and I actually got my girlfriend involved, and she's like, NASCAR. Like
Yeah.
she'll watch it to a certain point, and then she gets tired of it. Like if we take her to a race, she's fine, but to sit down and watch it on TV, she just can't do it. And I'm like,
there are long races in her defense.
well, I took her to Michigan, and it was August. It was hot. She got fried, like straight up fried. Like she was sick, and I told her, I was like, it's not like this every time. I mean, I've been to numerous tracks, and that was the only time that I've ever got burnt to the point where I was crispy.
Mm-hmm.
And then, what do you think about the schedule for NASCAR so far? I mean, obviously you have Bristol, dirt. They're going to Nashville. I mean, that's huge.
Yeah, I think they've done a great job with it. You know, it's been a challenge for them with COVID, but I think they've done a great job with it.
Now, what's your thoughts on COVID so far with obviously, it stopped, it halted everything. I mean, what did it do to you personally? Because we were in the middle of a season.
Yeah, like I said before, you know, I had a lot of partners lined up for last year, and because of COVID, they backed out. So it was unfortunate, but it allowed me to go back to my roots of dirt track racing. And it also allowed me, since, you know, we all spent a lot of time at home, I really used that time to work on my self-development, just work on myself. I read a lot of books. I journaled a lot and just kind of worked on myself as a person. And I think that really translated over to this year, because, you know, for the last 4 years, I was trying to find sponsorship. And this year I finally found that sponsorship. And I think a lot of that had to do with, you know, just developing as a person and focus on being happier and being better, and just every area of my life trying to improve and be a better person. And it translated to my career as well. And I was able to get that big sponsor and race full time now this year. So I really used COVID to put my head down and work on myself. And I'm happy I did that, because, you know, now we get to see the results of it.
Right. And I mean, like last week, I mean, you just that in general, I mean, was that your first full race with the BMR?
It was, yeah.
So she finishes 4th in her first race. That's phenomenal.
That is awesome.
Those cars are heavier, like you said.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
So in the developmental series that you're running in, is all 40 races on ovals, or do they go back and forth between ovals and road courses or anything?
No, we actually do some road courses. So we'll be at Sonoma twice, or 4 times actually. We have 4 races at Sonoma and 2 races at Thunder Hill. I've never raced road course before, so it'll be completely new to me, but I'm excited for it. I need to learn it, because as you guys see, they're adding more and more road course tracks to the NASCAR circuit. So it's important for us drivers to learn that now.
Yeah.
Well, Amber, I know you're extremely busy, and I don't want to hold you up anymore.
Yeah.
So with that being said, thank you for coming on to the show. All of our fans that are out there, all of our sponsors, thank you guys. Amber, thank you once again, and good luck in this upcoming season, and go get some wins.
Thank you so much. That's the plan.
Good luck,
Thanks
Amber.
for having me on. Thank you.
Thank you.